Your Excellency, Honorable Dr. William Samoei Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, Your Excellency, Ndugu Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, CS Labor, Cabinet Secretary present here today, Permanent Secretaries, all other invited guests, ladies and gentlemen, mine is going to be a very simple duty, and that is to invite my Secretary General, Dr. Francis Atwoli, who is my boss, my age mate, to come and address this congregation. Karibu, brother.
Thank you very much, my brother Ben. First and foremost, we must start by thanking His Excellency, the President of the Republic of Kenya, who is the Commander-in-Chief of our Defense Forces, Dr. William Samoei Ruto, particularly for having honored this day in solidarity with Kenyan workers by putting on a purple suit. We cannot take this for granted. We recognize that you recognize workers, and also in your position as a worker number one. I know I want to be very brief, but I want also to tell all of you who are here, who have assembled here to listen to us, that mvua haitanyesha. Kwa ajili kule nakotoka wana uwezo wa kusimamisha mvua tukiwa na sherehe kama ya leo. Na hiyo kazi imeanza kufanywa. Tulituma mmoja wetu anaitwa Mheshimiwa Omboko Miremba kwa ajili grandfathers wake ndio huwa wanasimamisha hii mvua kutoka kule sehemu za nyumbani. Na nataka kumshukuru Mheshimiwa Omboko Miremba, who is also the chairman of KUPPET, for the good work you have done, and it will not rain. I want to recognize our Deputy President, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, who came here earlier and who has been supportive to workers' cause, and also to recognize Governor Sakaja. Wengi wenu mnajua wakati wa Labor Day mimi niliwauliza huyo kijana mnipatie Mheshimiwa Sakaja, and you did a good job, mkamfanya senator wa Nairobi. Sakaja grew up with my children. Sakaja has been part of my family, and that is why. And we are not saying that the performance vis-a-vis his position might not be satisfactory, but we must develop channels such as the one I've developed, and I communicate to him on issues of informal sector in Nairobi and what is happening and how we can make our city to be beautiful without really throwing stones at him. I want to recognize my cabinet secretary, who is also a former labor leader from the Union of KUPPET, Sister Florence Bore, who has been with us, who has worked closely with us, who has opened her offices for all labor leaders in this country. And I want to thank you, Mama. Those cabinet secretaries who might be around here with us, we recognize you. Our Principal Secretary, Minister of Labor, Social Protection, State Department for Labor, Honorable Shadrach Mwangola Mwadime, the Principal Secretary, Minister of Labor and Social Protection, State Department for Social Protection and Senior Citizen Affairs, Honorable Joseph Mogosi Motari. Other Principal Secretaries present: my twin sister, Executive Director of Federation of Kenya Employers, Sister Chaglin Mugo, the Honorable Member of Parliament for this area, the young man Felix Jalango is very much known as Jalas. Honorable Pasaris, our women rep in this city, ambassadors and high commissioners, managing trustee of our National Social Security Fund, Brother David Koros, the Chief Executive Officer, National Hospital Insurance Fund, Brother Elijah Washira, and the Acting Director General, National Industrial Training Authority, Sister Teresa Wasike, my colleague of our sister union, Trade Union Congress, Charles Mkhwaya, and other public service unions which are around, including the universities. I was impressed to see your floats, and other dignitaries that are present, brothers and sisters. I want to be very much brief because our guest of honor is a person of several engagements in a day, and we cannot afford to keep him here for a longer time. Na nataka munisikize kidogo. Sijui kama nasikia hii, nasema nasitaka asikie. Kabla sijamuomba, nataka kwanza ni recognize yale mazuri ametufanyia, ndio roho yake irudi chini sana, aelewe sisi kama wafanyikazi tuko wapi. First and foremost, Your Excellency, I want to take this opportunity to thank you for honoring our invitation to be our chief guest today on this, our 59th Labor Day celebrations, under the theme of the work you are doing, that Kenyan workers stand for advanced information technology training to drive our digital economy. Your Excellency, that's where the world is going. The world is going digital, and that is why our executive board decided that theme. Let me also thank Your Excellency for assembling, that was a day before yesterday, assembling over 21 heads of government, including 14 presidents, during the International Development Association Summit in Nairobi. Your Excellency, I want to remind you, since I've been around for some time, that the only president who used to assemble a such magnitude number of heads of state, particularly from Africa and abroad, was the founding father of this nation, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta. And he went further to invite the different heads of the international institutions, including World Bank. As workers, we don't take it for granted. We want to echo your efforts because you are selling this country. You are coming out in a clear way to indicate to the whole world that we are able, we can host, and we can also engage those who are coming here, and also plant a sense of direction into the leadership of this continent. Once again, Your Excellency, I want to echo your continued support to workers Invite. Since you took over as our head of state, one, you gave all of us a hearing. That was the trade union delegation, which was at State House with you on 14th of February last year, followed by presiding over our last year's Labor Day. We want to thank you, Your Excellency. We can't take it for granted. And after that, honoring the invite of the International Labour Organization Director General, Gilbert Humbo, for taking your own time to go to Switzerland, Geneva, to address more than 5,000 tripartite delegates in that conference. That shows how much you respect and you honor working men and women across the globe. And that, to us, was a plus, because since independence, no any head of state of our republic, Kenya, has had an opportunity to address the International Labour Conference. Your Excellency, you also didn't stop there. Last year on 28th of November, you officiated and you presided over the opening of the International Trade Union Confederation at Safari Park, African region, which attracted all trade unions from all over the world. And in that conference, Your Excellency, you remember I whispered to you that here we have almost 1,000 delegates. And how will we be able, as a single center, trade union center, to manage settling even the bills of our hotels? And I reminded you, I told you in other countries where we have been, government have handicap come in to make sure that they assist the labor movement in this area. Your Excellency, we want to thank you. You didn't hesitate. Within no matter of few days, you send us 10 million Kenya shillings to assist us in offsetting the bill at Safari Park Hotel. We want to thank you for that good work. Your Excellency, the other thing we remind people today, I want my brothers and sisters to listen carefully. Because some of our people cannot be able to differentiate a trade union with a SACCO or savings and cooperative societies that we have. Trade union is a pressure group, just like Sister Jacqueline has said, that employers organization, trade union, and government through the Ministry of Labor. These are the cardinal engine, particularly the center of economic growth in any given country. And it does not require hoppers, it does not require people to hawk in. It has enormous industrial relations machinery established for all of us to follow. When I hear some people coming out with some suggestions that are irrelevant, unacceptable, and not in tune with the dance that is on the platform currently, Your Excellency, we must always remember that Africa, Asia, and Latin America, we attained our independence through the struggle of the trade union movement, including this our country. In Kenya, we will always remember and forever celebrate our founding father of this nation, Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, who was part of the local government workers union, now the county government workers union. We must remember our several brothers from the Asian community. One of them was Makan Singh, who championed for registration of the trade union in this country and in East Africa. Followed by Cheke Kibachia, Agre Minya, Thomas Joseph Mboya, Fred Kubai, Vicky Wachira. Vicky Wachira was very militant, a young man in Nairobi. And Ratibu Hussein from Kibera, he was also a young man who fought closely with the labor movement for us to attain independence. We had Pio Pio Gama Pinto, we had Ocholo Gaema Kanyengo, we had Martin Shikuku, Clement Lubembe, and Dennis Akuma, among others. These were all labor leaders before independence, including Fred Kubai. And across Africa, Your Excellency, trade unionists who spearheaded their countries to independence were John Tetiga of Ghana, Ahmed Tilil of Tunisia, Paul Humphrey Luanda of Uganda, Rashid Kawawa of Tanzania, Abdoulaye Diallo of Guinea-Conakry, Demba Diop of Mali, as well as Cyril Ramaphosa, the current president of South Africa. These are the gallants, fearless fighters, people who set us free from the labor movement. And we must remember them. We must have their history. They were not people who had been appointed by government on various positions and they want to pretend to be labor leaders. Change this on. And Your Excellency, today's trade union movement has changed from agitation to scientific dialogue. That is why you don't hear us on newspapers. That is why you don't hear us fighting. We are busy with the employers in boardrooms, negotiating for good terms and conditions of service of our members. And Jacqueline is here. She can bear me a witness. In my own union, this year, I signed more than 44 CBAs to cushion workers from the cost of living. And some say, atuoli, amekaa tu pale, hii mzee. Ni mzee wa ujuzi, mzee wa kisasa. We have moved from issues of advocacy, agitation, and so on to impress upon dialogue between us and employers. And Your Excellency, nowadays, because of digital economy, e-commerce, or platform economy as it is known, we research through our Kotu Education and Economic Research Department to any enterprise before we engage employer. Tunaangalia huyo ametengeneza pesa ngapi. Na ile ya juu ndio tunakuja kumwambia bwana, wewe kampuni yako imetengeneza pesa hii umenunua gari, hii umefanya hii umefanya hii pesa fulani, zingine umepeleka Dubai, zingine umepeleka Ulaya, na hizi zimebaki ndio sisi tunataka tugawanyane na wafanyikazi. We don't come to your office to for employers, and Jacqueline is here, blindly. We also look at the cost of living, consumer price indices, inflation rate in comparison with the national economic performance. And when we demand, you cannot escape, you cannot run away, because we will go to the industrial court with those facts and we will get what we want, or the employment and labor relations court. So sisi sio wajinga. Tukikuja kwako tunajua una pesa. Kama hauna tunajua hauna. Na CBA has about 40 to 30 clauses. We will look into those areas. Other areas we leave financial aside. We live until we support you to maximize profit, and that profit we will share. Your Excellency, as I'm standing here, we have a slogan that an injury to one is an injury to all. Sister Jacqueline alishikia kidogo hali ya madaktari wetu, clinical officers. Saa ingine usiku hatulali, Your Excellency. Tukisema tutafuta njia gani mwafaka, which route, because you managed us. On 6th of March, wakati ulitangaza serikali haina pesa, you rendered Kotu impotent, you rendered FK impotent, you rendered your Minister of Labor impotent, you rendered that committee that you had set out where my deputy was impotent, because as a worker number one, when you take over a dispute, we cannot contradict you. We can't. We have no leeway in any machinery to contradict the head of state. And we must look for channels. Pale unakaa, Your Excellency, sio rahisi kufika. Kule ndani wewe ulikuwa free. Zamani ulikuwa unakuja kwa nyumba yangu nyumbani, unajua familia yangu, ukitengeneza chama chako cha URP, ilikuwa mtu tu unaweza kutana na yeye kwa njia, unakula na yeye mahindi. Little did we know, even we people who are in Azimio, utatoka nyuma upite kwa sisi namna hivyo na uwe president. So that position kukufikia sio rahisi. But I know on each and every issue you have an answer. Hiyo tunakuachia, Your Excellency. Jacqueline Muga amesema tunakuachia. And I know you are able minister. We have been in touch all the time, even the Minister of Health. Hii mambo yote tunawachia wewe. We are all your children. We are all, and we respect you. And you move faster. So, Your Excellency, with your own
Ndizi TV, ubwansu bw'omugusii.
Akakana pia gantende kikuli uno muibiga ebiji anoto tukunye tumia kwana kokoro basali nduwa kuna ebiji obusoku bolinde naki uzokiriya sabantu nande ngateba iga kero mulende naki kakina kinko kakamte agenda kide gali mengateba umuntu yono nyundi neseri fitingu cyo kumoya alikuwa kadi na huyu jamaa atakuja kunitafuta siku moja abantu bamuteba naki omumurori omusobati narajete nyumba ubata abana bako muito kurugondomini akora so agacha kamanya baadaye naki na acting yaringe
wono asense meya acting abantu abangi bamaitenga omwanjogo mbochabeli nekene bulinga emunyuma ine na mbochabeli
rero kintarete yange biki gatene nisemesa kyatereza abantu bamanye
omwanchumuliriya bwa televishoni ya Ndizi TV mbiyamona sukoira chinsa chao na kuliriya televishoni yao na mbegemo yomunwa bweke Gusii bono onye kubwate nganende yonsi yokwe murungania wosokomenta na bogo toikera asugo twakirezimi ase namba enotisano na ibire inyesato isano nemo ibire isato isano na isato isano na ibire eyemo gose otorikere yukorike ase email ya ndizitv@gmail.com voigo na bugotonyora ase mitandao yaito buna Ndizi TV News Digital ensemo ya Facebook, YouTube nigotogotoka buna Ndizi TV News na voigo TikTok nigotogotoka buna Ndizi TV News na bo ogututarira sikiabisi chito ekyo kirebo cyobwechiro ya embassy ekero kogenda nyakoe ase bara ekurwa Kisii kogenda Kisumu. Ndizi TV omwansu bw'omugusii omuligiriria bwe televishoni ya Ndizi TV nigoto kuiraniria ngambiya muno asoko genderera guturigireria na gutusira kira rituko asemerubiriyo yaitu yonsi chinsemero ngebere nenge bono onye kendegia korekanire aseke nyurukiao ekiota geto tumanye asubwango mono abonda isi veke nambeye asese miao enoti sano na ibere inya isato isano nemo ibere isato isano na isato isano na ibere eyemo elioto akere n'abasaki baito baikasure na kubekora uboti ubwo asembeo emesa yamangana maya ya Ndizi TV nereyo kwabekire simu yawe ime
Gendo tikerie kiya senseye buna komenya buyake bochenu na kiye kogeregeta seni kya Ndizi TV togokoretero muroberio bwo komenya okuya
webwo bwiga tutebe abantu abanene boka kusenone muntu ndi bwensi nabako
nonye muntu ndi bwensi nonya erero iga osokonyora kwanyorire head injury nabo konyoranga e problem ya gochire
sasa pneumonia ni infection yenye inakuja si ni infection ni kitu ni una breathe in hiyo bacteria alafu ukitibiwa inaenda inaisha kabisa so haiwezi kukua transmitted kutoka kwa mzazi ikienda kwa mtoto
kira ritko ria ijuma gochaka chinsebere goika chinsebere ne nusu chia mogoroba no semiwa manke igoro yobochenu ubwo mubero
igoro breast cancer screening inabo umuntu akakije korera every month.
When I asked
every month
your ministry which is in charge whether workers will have an opportunity on that board, and after consultation with their office, they are allowed us, as per the current act, to appoint one of us on that particular board. The purpose is we as workers will support it financially. But the eye on that board also, when there will be allotment, because we have some shop stewards and workers who have even nowhere to sleep, they will have an opportunity to be housed in this new venture that you have started. And it is not only in Africa. Algeria, they did it. Egypt, they did it. And so many other African countries, they did it. And as I've said, the only problem with our country, Your Excellency, is that we were not used to paying taxes. And when you said everybody should pay tax, it became as an alien issue in this country. Because a normal Kenyan would like to eat without working, would like to make money without earning. And this is where the problem is. I want to end there, Your Excellency. I don't want to tire you. But the last area I want to ask you, because I said I will recognize all good things you have done for workers of this country. And you will continue doing these things. And next year we will be with you. And other years to come. And we will give you support as a pressure group. And when we are called to kiitwa tutaitika sisi. Research yetu inatuambia, Your Excellency. But I don't know what is in your pocket. Kama unaweza kunja macho, because Jacqueline said, oh, general wage increase, that is employer now. It's not anchored on any law. We must have wages council, sit and discuss and see how this general wage works. Let me remind my sister here, my twin sister. In 1972, when our economy was not performing, we were doing badly. Then the late president, the founding father of this nation, Mr. Jomo Kenyatta, announced general wage increase at that time of 15%. Can you imagine? To everybody. And he also asked employers to increase their workforce by 10% in order to alleviate or to reduce unemployment in our country. Which law was it anchored to? Anything that comes from the mouth of the president, let me tell you, people, anything that the president akikusalamia jambo, that is law. That is law. Usifikirie utaenda kutafuta law ingine pale ingine. So wacha tupeleke president pole pole na tumwangalie, tumchunge na yeye atatuchunga. Na tunaomba yeye atupatie 22.5% or whatever he has put in his pockets. Ama tena nimesema vibaya? Nikiomba hiyo nimesema vibaya? And let me remind our economists, even when our shilling was being devalued, we said on 14th of January that this devaluation of our shilling, which was on speedy rush, did not reflect the true economic activities on the ground. Because most of you economists, you are around the year 2007 to 2009, when we had a global economic and financial crisis, when Obama was coming in. This did not affect Africa, because our economy is driven, our formal economy is driven by informal economy, which has huge of deposits in our banks. We don't rely to money from outside. Mama Chondo, Mama Mboga, Jua Kali, wanapeleka pesa kwa banki kila siku na Chondo. And that is why our economy is steady. And I want to appeal to His Excellency to give infrastructure to our informal sector, to support them, and ask governors in various county governments to make sure that markets are built, the informal sector people are not harassed by taxes and so on. These are the people who drive our economy. And Kenya is one. After His Excellency akisema 30%. And we work hard to redouble our efforts in various places to correct the economic anomaly. We will still spur economic growth. We thank you, Your Excellency, the President. May I invite our Honorable Minister for Labor, who has done a commendable job, to make her remarks and follow the rest of the protocol. I thank you.
Thank you, Brother Francis Atwoli. Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, and Commander-in-Chief of the Kenya Defense Forces, Your Excellency, Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Judges present, Cabinet Secretaries, colleagues present, Honorable Johnson Sakaja, the Governor, Nairobi County, Principal Secretaries present, the Chairman and Executive Board members of KOTU, Brother Francis Atuoli, the Secretary General, KOTU Kenya, Sister Jacqueline Mugo, the Executive Director, FKE, chairs of committees of parliament and members of parliament present, ambassadors and high commissioners present, all distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Amjambo. It is an honor to mark the 59th International Labour Day in the company of esteemed workers gathered here at Uhuru Gardens, Nairobi. I wish to express my sincere gratitude to you, Your Excellency, Dr. William Ruto, the President of the Republic of Kenya, for honoring our invitation once again to celebrate with workers on this special day. This is a testament of Your Excellency's commitment to the welfare of workers. We deeply appreciate this great gesture. Today, we join hands with millions around the world to observe the International Labour Day, a day in which trade unions celebrate workers and the fruits of their labor. The theme of this year's celebration, Kenya's workers stand for advanced information technology, training to drive our digital economy. It aligns seamlessly with the bottom-up economic transformation agenda 2023 to 2027, as it underscores the need for readiness to adapt to the changing world of work brought about by digitalization. The emergence of the gig economy signifies a profound shift in employment dynamics across the world as countries embrace rapid digitalization of economic activities in e-commerce and employment. The demand for labor in the digital economy necessitates the need to devise new strategies in governance and policy framework for fair distribution of gains and opportunities. The new jobs in the digital and gig economy come with limitations on how work is organized and regulated, with workers having limited job security, restricted access to social protection, career progression, and the lack in the right to organize collectively. Conscious of these challenges, we note that constructive dialogue, drawing the tripartite and other stakeholders, is crucial to ensure decent work for all. We now have a community of practice, and my ministry is collaborating with stakeholders to review labor laws in this regard. Your Excellency, my ministry has put in place additional measures to ensure skills development is responsive to the labor market demand. Our government launched the National Skills Inventory to map out the skills of all Kenyans seeking employment to enhance employability locally and abroad. In the pursuit to address the high unemployment rate, government has continued to engage with other governments who have a high demand for labor through initiating negotiation of bilateral labor agreements or memorandum of understanding to provide safe and orderly labor migration. We have retained foreign employment on top of our agenda, and so far we have pursued and signed 4 bilateral labor agreements, and 7 are at an advanced stage of negotiation, while 14 are in draft form. The aim is not only to provide overseas opportunities, but also to encourage the return of skilled workers with enhanced capabilities. Encouragingly, there are 254,312 active jobs that have been advertised by the private recruitment agencies on the National Employment Authority website at www.nearims.go.ke. Job seekers are encouraged to register through the website and apply for the jobs. Your Excellency, in our quest to foster workplace harmony and acceptable conditions of work, the Labor Inspectorate has diligently processed over 11,000 labor disputes and conducted more than 12,000 workplace inspections and facilitated registration of an additional 334 collective bargaining agreements in the last 1 year. My ministry remains steadfast in engaging social partners, and I once more call upon the healthcare workers and employers to reconsider their position for a win-win outcome. We need normalcy to be restored in the health sector to bring to an end the suffering of our people. In recalling the Durban call to action on elimination of child labor by 2025, my ministry recently joined the Alliance 8.7 on a pathfinder as a pathfinder country and further established 7 county child labor committees to address child labor issues at the county levels. These efforts underscore our unwavering dedication to uphold children's rights to social and educational development. Your Excellency, social protection is a mandate of my ministry, and we continue to implement the cash transfer programs with an increase in social assistance coverage to orphans and vulnerable children and persons living with disabilities, as well as the Inua Jamii program for the elderly persons, where government has committed 28 billion. In a move to afford social security to those in the informal sector, we have intensified campaigns to promote Haba Haba program under NSSF, where members can access their savings plan through their mobile phones by dialing *303# to give members a chance to save 25 shillings a day, a minimum of 25 shillings a day, with an option of withdrawing 50% of their contribution after consistently contributing for a minimum of 5 years. My ministry is also developing bills to enhance the legal framework for protection of labor, which include the Labor Migration Management Bill, the Social Protection Bill 2024, the Work Injury Compensation Act Bill, Occupational Safety and Health Bill, National Productivity and Competitiveness Council Bill, among others, which are at various stages of development. Your Excellency, on the international scene, my ministry has also made good progress towards the ratification of Convention 189 on domestic workers and Convention 190 on violence and harassment. Public participation in public fora and media platforms are ongoing to build consensus, and we will soon present the country position to Cabinet for way forward. I thank all stakeholders involved, including our social partners, for their submissions and guidance. Allow me, Your Excellency, to appreciate POTU, Kenya Branch, and FKE for their continued support to my ministry locally and internationally. As members of ILO governing body, they have effectively represented the country's interests and ensure that we have the necessary technical and financial support. In comparison to other countries in the region, Kenya has a total of 12 programs supported by ILO. As I conclude, I wish to emphasize the importance of strengthening the social dialogue institutions by increasing the funding to enhance their operations to curb the recurrent countrywide industrial actions. Finally, I wish to state that my ministry stands in solidarity with employers and workers and will guard their fundamental principles and rights at work, as well as ensure social justice for all. We cannot forget our brothers and sisters who have perished due to the devastating floods, those who have been rendered homeless, and the ones in hospitals. Let us all stand with them in prayers as well as support them where we can. It is now my humble pleasure to welcome His Excellency Honorable Rigathi Gachagua, the Deputy President, to make his address and invite you, Your Excellency, the President of Kenya. Karibu, Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, President of the Republic of Kenya, Commander-in-Chief of our Defense Forces, Minister for Labor and Social Protection, Secretary General Kotu, Mr. Francis Atwoli, Executive Director of our employers, all protocols observed. Good afternoon. Your Excellency, your presence here is a clear testimony to administration organizes Kenyan workers as a key driver of our economy and a senior partner in the country's development process. And it is for that reason, Your Excellency, workers of Kenya, and indeed the people of Kenya, want to listen to you this afternoon. My duty, therefore, is very simple. Is to request all of us to be upstanding as I request the President of the Republic of Kenya to come and talk to the Kenyan workers and the people of Kenya. Your Excellency.
Mheshimiwa Rigathi, tafadhali tunaweza keti chini. Thank you very much. Mheshimiwa Rigathi Gachagua, Rais wa wa mambo ya kazi, kiongozi wa wafanyikazi Secretary General Francis Atwoli, wafanyikazi wote wa taifa letu la Kenya pamoja na trade unions zote, hamjambo. I am profoundly honored to join you and all other Kenyans in commemorating the 59th International Labour Day, a moment to celebrate and acknowledge the dedicated contribution of Kenyan workers to our nation's economic growth, including our nation's independence. This is also a time to reflect with gratitude on the role of Kenya's labor movement in laying the foundation of our nation's freedom and also prosperity. It is clear, therefore, that Labor Day is more than a celebration. Today, we also honor the labor movement's historical campaign for fair wages and decent working conditions, which continues to inform our commitment to improving the welfare of every Kenyan worker. We embrace the theme that you have laid out, Kenyan workers standing for advanced information technology training to drive our digital economy, which is not only aligned with, but also underscores the government's significant strides in digitizing our economy and integrating digital technology across various sectors and in the entirety of our economy. While Kenya is globally recognized for its advancement in digital readiness and inclusivity, there is still much to be done to achieve job creation and increase in productivity. I listened to our sister Jacqueline, and she emphasized on the issue of productivity, and we are all aligned that that should be the facing forward of our job market. Through strategic investments, we have built robust digital infrastructure, established incubation hubs, and launched initiatives like the TVET Jitume program to boost youth digital skills. As I speak to you, Kenya Power, ICTA, and the Ministry of ICT are rolling out the program that will give us an extra 100,000 kilometers of fiber optic and connect 100,000 other institutions, including markets, including schools, including homes, so that we can have a firm foundation to tap into the digital economy, whether it is digital jobs or digital commerce. Likewise, the Ajira digital program aims to empower over 1 million young people with digital job opportunities, showcasing our commitment to revolutionize the economy through our digital economy. Despite progress, workers still face precarious conditions. We are dedicated to updating labor. We are dedicated to updating labor laws to protect workers in today's evolving market. We are also committed to relevant government and private sector entities to expedite policy development and legal frameworks for this dynamic sector, ensuring full protection of workers' rights. Further, we have implemented measures to enhance our vocational training across counties. This is aimed at increasing their capacity to equip our workforce with the necessary skills to bridge the gap between available jobs in the market and suitably trained workers for these positions in our ever-changing economy. The pace at which jobs are created in our country is way lower than the rate at which new workers enter the job market. Every year, 1 million workers enter the job market in Kenya, while only 200,000 are absorbed into formal jobs, both in the private and public sector. Labor migration, therefore, is a critical component of our socio-economic development, benefiting both Kenya and counties that welcome our workers. As the minister has said ably, this is the reason why we continue to negotiate bilateral labor agreements to facilitate safe and orderly labor migration, protecting Kenyan workers' rights and facilitating their access to international job markets. We are at the advanced stage of concluding several bilateral labor agreements with many countries, including the UK, Germany, Austria, Saudi Arabia, among others. Every Kenyan worker has the right to fair pay and a safe workplace. The 2024 Social Protection Bill, approved by Cabinet in January, underscores our dedication to address gaps in social protection, including fragmented legislation, coordination issues, and funding shortages. We are committed to enforcing labor laws and engaging in ongoing social dialogues with unions and workers to uphold their rights. Like every other right, labor rights should align with the public interest and the economy's sustainable financial capacity. Social dialogues aim to enhance mutual benefit and shared interests, recognizing our collective goal of advancing Kenya's welfare. While the right to undertake industrial action is enshrined in the Constitution and labor laws, it must be exercised responsibly with due regard to the well-being of the public, and I urge all parties involved to act in good faith and prioritize the interests of our citizens. Respect for court orders is paramount, and adherence to the legal processes is essential in resolving disputes effectively. We need to tighten our belts and live within our means as a country in order to make more resources available to manage our economic challenges and to invest in goods and services that benefit all, not just some citizens. It is neither just, proper, nor reasonable for any group to make demands that run counter to this imperative, elevate their claims above legitimate benchmarks, or exceed our economic capacity. I want to urge workers, including our daughters and sons who are doctors, that as social partners, we must swiftly address the pertinent issues at hand, ensuring that essential services continue uninterrupted and our commitment to serving our citizens remain unswerving. Looking ahead, to ensure industrial peace and manage disputes effectively, I have instructed the Ministry of Labor and Social Protection to activate multiple wage councils outlined in the 2007 Labor Relations Act. These councils include Council for Seafarers, Protective, General, and Agricultural Wages. They will negotiate minimum wages in different sectors, enhancing conciliation, mediation, and industrial peace. Kenya operates within the global context, and our competitiveness is key to overcoming economic challenges. Progress has been made in managing inflation, stabilizing the currency, and addressing debt. Our economic policies have also lowered prices of basic goods, easing pressure on workers. As we continue on this trajectory, we need to appreciate that we must live within our means and manage the cost of doing business in our country as a way of enhancing our overall competitiveness. And it is the reason why, listening to both Francis Atwoli and Jacqueline Mugo, I think they are reading from the same script. And they are telling us the same thing. What they are telling us from my reading is that all of us, as the people of Kenya, those of us who have the opportunity to work, those of us who have the opportunity to get a job, we must be productive and we must get fair pay, because Kenya is going to be built by us. Every Kenyan has a responsibility to participate in the building of our nation. We are going to build Kenya with our energy, with our knowledge, with our expertise, with our talents, with our energy, and with our resources. We are not going to build this nation, or we are not going to expect others to build this nation for us. We are not going to expect resources from others to build this nation. It is first and foremost our responsibility. And that is the reason why we must bring into the bracket as many Kenyans as possible to participate in working in Kenya, so that they too can contribute their talent, their energy, their expertise, their knowledge in building our country. It is the reason why I have been deliberate and intentional on making sure that we do at least 3 things. Number 1, we have a deliberate program on how to create more jobs. As I talk to you today, we have 140,000 young people who were not working last year, but they are working this year in our housing program. As I talk to you today here, we have another 120,000 young people in our TVETs, in our ICT hubs today, who are earning salaries, who have a job, a digital job. 120,000 who did not have that job last year. It is because we have been intentional on creating additional opportunities for young people in Kenya to work. It is also the reason why we are reorganizing labor migration, why we are signing bilateral labor agreements, because it is my intention that every year we should be able to send 250,000 Kenyans to work in different parts of the world, so that we can enhance and we can increase the number of people who are working abroad and also enhance our remittances from abroad. I am very happy that from last year to this year, we have increased our remittances by about 50 billion. And it is my intention that in the next 5 years, we should take our remittances from $4 billion to $10 billion. And I am committed, and I believe it is doable because I can see we are in the right trajectory. Kwa hivyo, kwa sababu tumekuja hapa katika mkutano huu wa wafanyikazi, na mimi pia ni mfanyikazi kwa sababu nimeajiriwa na Wakenya, na nimekuja hapa kuungana na sisi wote, serikali, FKE na shirika ya wafanyikazi, sote tukiwa timu moja. Na ndio nimesema hatuna haja na ugomvi. Ni vizuri tunaweza kuketi chini pamoja. Tunataka kujieleza kwa njia ya taratibu, bila ya msukosuko ama bila ya kupigana, kwa sababu inawezekana tukubaliane. Na ndio nawauliza hata madaktari wetu, tumeweka kwenye meza yale serikali iko tayari kufanya. Kati ya mambo nafikiri 19, serikali imekubali mambo 17. Imebaki 2 kwa sababu haiwezekani kwa mambo ya fedha, na wauliza madaktari wetu warudi kazini. Mambo tutarekebisha, uchumi tutazalisha, na kila mtu atapata haki yake tukisonga mbele. That is what we must do, and we must be brutally honest with one another. Hakuna haja ya kudanganya. Hakuna haja ya kutafuta umaarufu. Tuambiane tu ukweli. Because those of us who are elected as leaders, we are not elected to be popular. We are elected to serve and to transform our country and to work for those who elected us. I find a lot of leaders, they spend so much time trying to be popular. When will you have time to work for the people who elected you? If all the time your focus, your attention, your energy is on how to continue being popular. Leadership and the transformation of the country is not going to happen if we don't focus on why we were elected. And I want to ask all of us, na niwaulize kwa unyenyekevu, kwa sababu ukienda hapa Mukuru, sio mbali kutoka hapa. Hapa Mukuru tunajenga nyumba 14,000. Saa hii inaendelea pale. For those of you who are in doubt, I ask you after this meeting, muende pale Mukuru. Kuna pale wafanyikazi zaidi ya 4,000 wanafanya kazi hapo kila siku. Hapa Nairobi tunataka kujenga nyumba kati ya 50,000 na 70,000 kila mwaka. Ndio wale watu wetu wanaangaishwa na maji na mafuriko na maporomoko waweze kupata mahali ya kuita nyumbani. Niliwaambia inawezekana Mkenya mwenye analipa shilingi 3,000 tuwe na nyumba iko na choo, iko na maji, iko na stima, nyumba ya gorofa, lakini ni ya shilingi 3,000. Ule mjamaa ameketi kwa mabati, leo mahali kuna mafuriko anaweza kupata nyumba hiyo, na hiyo ndio mpango yetu kama serikali. Na kabla ya mwisho wa mwaka huu, before the end of this year, kabla ya mwisho wa mwaka huu, mutaziona zile nyumba nilianzisha mwaka uliopita, kwa sababu nyingi zimeanza kuwa tayari. If seeing is believing, you will begin to see, so that you can believe that we are serious on the housing plan. Our intention is at least in the next 5 years, we must create 1 million new home owners in Kenya, people who have a place to call home that we have facilitated. Apart from creating jobs, we create decent livelihoods for our people. I want to tell the people of Nairobi, jana tulikubaliana kwenye baraza la mawaziri na tulisema wale wote ambao wanaishi katika riparian reserve tutawasaidia waondoke, kwa sababu hatutaki Mkenya apoteze maisha yake kwa mafuriko. Wale wanaishi katika vitongoji zile zingine karibu na riparian reserve, tumekubaliana tutatumia hazina yetu ya housing kuwasaidia kujenga social housing, ili hata na wao waishi mahali penye kuna heshima, mahali kuna maji, mahali kuna proper housing. Na tumesema wale wanaishi in our slum dwellings, they will be our first priority on matters social housing. Kwa hivyo nataka niwaulize wafanyikazi wote, sisi wa Kenya tujue ya kwamba nchi hii haiwezi kujengwa kimiujiza, haiwezi kujengwa na watu wengine. Wenye kujenga Kenya ni sisi. Nguvu yetu, akili tulio nayo, mipango tulio nayo na pesa zetu, na hiyo pesa inatoka kwa ushuru. Kuitwa Zakayo si jambo, bora tulipe ushuru. Zakayo ni jina, hakuna problem, tunaweza kusonga mbele. Bora tujenge Kenya hii, watu wapate manyumba, tuwe na affordable, tuwe na universal health coverage, watoto vijana wetu wapate ajira. Zakayo ni jina, tuendelee mbele, no problem. Kwa sababu tutakuwa tunajidanganya, na tumejidanganya muda mrefu, ya kwamba nchi inaweza kujengwa na madeni kutoka nchi zingine. It is not possible. And I have to be brutally honest to my fellow citizens. We must face up to the reality. We must build our country with our energy, with our knowledge, with our talent, with our effort, with our plan, and with our taxes. That's how we are going to build this country. Kwa hivyo na wauliza viongozi wote wenzangu, najua haikuwa imepangwa ya kwamba tutaangalia vile wale ambao wanahusika wataketi chini ndio tuweze kupata nyongeza ya minimum wage. Mwaka huu lazima tuwe na mpango ya kuongeza minimum wage. That we must do. Najua Jacqueline amesema iko namna hii, lakini Jacqueline, this time round we must do something about minimum wage. And therefore, kabla sijatangaza hiyo, mimi nataka niseme ya kwamba wale wote ambao sisi tuko na nafasi ya kuwa viongozi, let us try and be part of the solution. Viongozi waziwe ndio part of the problem. Viongozi wote wa Kenya tuko na agenda, tumepatiwa nafasi na Wakenya ya kuongoza. Wakenya wanalipa ushuru, tunataka watoto wetu wasome. Tumeweka mpango mkubwa, wabunge wako na pesa ya CDF, wajenge mashule, wapange basari, watoto wetu waende shuleni. Tuko na mpango ya housing, tuko na mpango ya universal health coverage, tuko na mpango ya digital program ya kuendesha mambo ya digital hubs na kuhakikisha kwamba tunazalisha ajira. Tuko na kilimo, na mimi niliwaeleza bila ya kudanganyana ya kwamba kufanyia maandamano njaa haiwezi kupotea, mpaka tuende shambani tuzalishe chakula ipatikane kwa wingi, ndio tuweze kupunguza gharama ya unga na chakula. Unga ambayo ilikuwa shilingi 230 sasa hizi ni karibu 100. Kwani ni maandamano tulifanya ama tulipatiana fertilizer wakulima wakazalisha chakula? So we must be, lazima tuambiane ukweli. Na hiyo ukweli mimi nitazidi na kusema mpaka sisi wote tuende barabara moja, kwa sababu hivyo ndivyo tutakavyobadilisha taifa letu la Kenya. Kwa hivyo nawauliza, ile mipango tumeweka, wakati nilisimama hapa mwaka uliopita, niliwaomba munipatie nafasi kidogo nipange mambo. Vile mambo yalivyokuwa mwaka uliopita sio vile yalivyo sasa. Dola yetu imekuja mahali mzuri, gharama ya chakula imekuja mahali mzuri, ile interest rate imeanza kuteremka chini, mafuta pia imeanza kushuka chini. Ile kitu tu bado iko juu ni makelele ya siasa. Tunataka pia hata na hiyo ikuje chini, ndio tuweze kwenda mbele kama wataifa. So nawauliza viongozi, tuwache makelele, hasa wale viongozi ambao wanatafuta mbinu na njia ya kugawanya Wakenya kwa misingi ya ukabila. Mimi nawaomba viongozi wote, mimi nawauliza viongozi wote, na washauri viongozi, ukabila haiwezi kubadilisha maisha ya mtu yeyote. Na mkiona kiongozi ambaye anaendesha siasa kwa misingi ya ukabila, huyo ni kiongozi bankrupt, kwa sababu mtu akikosa agenda, kama hana mpango, kama hana plan, anaenda kukwama kwa ukabila, kwa sababu ndio ile siasa duni ya nyuma ya mwisho. Please, mtu yeyote mwenye ako na sera, kuja zungumza na Wakenya. Useme housing si mzuri, useme yako ni gani. Useme export of labor si mzuri, utuambie yako. Useme kuzalisha chakula na fertilizer si mzuri, utuambie isalishwe namna gani. Ukuje utuambie utaki digital jobs, watuambie yako. Lakini usikuje kutuambia ukabila. Hawa ni wakabila hii, sijui hawa ni wakabila ile, sijui wale ni wakabila ile. Hiyo ni upuzi na hiyo ni ujinga. And I say it without fear of any contradiction. Tumetoa nchi ya Kenya mahali mbali. And I want to ask the citizens of our country, especially those of us who have the privilege to be leaders, to desist from dividing citizens along tribal lines. That is retrogressive, that is primitive, and that takes us backwards. Tunataka tuende mbele. Tukubaliane, mshahara tutaongeza kwa njia gani? Mapato tutaongeza kwa njia gani? Tutazalisha chakula kwa njia gani? Na ndio mimi nataka sasa nimwambie waziri wetu wa leba aite kamati ile inahusika na waketi chini, minimum wage tuongeze at least minimum by 6%, na mtaniambia vile hesabu hiyo itafanyika. Alafu pale mbele tutaongea na nyinyi vile mambo itakavyo kwenda mbele. As we commemorate Labor Day, let us rededicate ourselves to doing our best and contributing our utmost to enhance the welfare of every Kenyan. Thank you very much. God bless you. God bless our great nation, Kenya. Asanteni sana.
Tumpongeze Rais kwa hotuba yake. Asante sana Mheshimiwa Rais kwa hotuba yako. Na kwa sasa tumefika mwisho wa sherehe ya leo. Kwa hivyo naomba mahali tulipo tuweze kusimama ili tumalizie kwa wimbo wa taifa. Kwa hivyo naomba sote tusimame wima mahali tulipo, tumalizie kwa wimbo wa taifa. Basi tutulie tukimruhusu.
Ndizi TV, ubwansu bw'omugusi. Ndizi TV, ubwansu bw'omugusi.
Gendo tikerie kiya senseye buna komenya buyake bo